Moving on to 4A, Northridge is at Norwell. I don't think after the first couple weeks of the regular season we would have predicted Norwell to be in this situation, but as we've talked about many weeks now, they found a way to seal things off in the fourth quarter and fix that kind of problem. They didn't need to seal things off in the fourth quarter this past week. They went to Columbia City and hammered what had been a really fast improving Columbia City team, in my opinion, 35-7. You and I were both at the Northridge-Leo game. That was a 9-7 Northridge win. Seeing those two teams kind of have different types of games last week, what's going to be the most important thing heading into this week in this game?
Stopping the run game of Northridge is paramount from Norwell. Leo has been a tremendous defense all year, run defense in particular, and they were able to stick Northridge for the most part and really slow down that running game that tore up East Noble the week before. That is the key for Norwell. If you are going to beat Northridge, you have to force them into second longs, third and longs, and make them go vertical, which they can do a little bit, but really are not a prolific passing offense. So Norwell, first and foremost, really need to stop that run game up front.
And what we saw, I think, from Northridge was Leo was able to slow down the running game. They're not a great passing team, but they connected on a few big plays. I think it comes down to the fact that Northridge made a couple of big plays at key moments. That was the only thing that was the difference really against Leo.
Yeah, it was two passing plays. They had a third and long deep in their own territory, threw it for 38 yards to midfield. A couple plays later, they throw a fade in the back of the end zone for a 28-yard touchdown. Before that, they had one pass completion for -5 yards for the entire game. I mean, so it's not a Northridge team that is comfortable passing 15, 20, 25 times a game. You can force them to do that, then it takes them out of their comfort zone and gives you a better shot.
And we've talked about Pearson Harnish a lot, but he had a huge game last week, specifically on the ground. 177 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns on the ground against Columbia City, 2 in the air as well. Adam Norwell, 93 yards, I believe, out of the backfield. Reggie Hayes, a big game receiving. I mean, they have a lot of pieces that Northridge can't necessarily key on. What do you see as the biggest thing that Norwell has to do offensively to make things, to grease the wheels, so to speak, this week against a really, really good Northridge defense that's given up almost nothing in the postseason?
Yeah, I don't know if Norwell can go in and run the ball against Northridge. They're going to have to go vertical. I do think Pearson Harnish is the best quarterback that Northridge will have faced all year in terms of his arm. So Pearson Harnish is going to have to throw the ball. Those wide receivers are going to have big games. I think if you extend that Northridge defense, attack the back end of it, you got a good shot. And Pearson Harnish can do that. He's proven that he can go vertical and beat teams. So Norwell, they got to run the ball to a certain extent to at least keep Northridge honest and keep 7, 8 in the box. But if they're going to win this game, they need to have a prolific passing game.
Tom Wogelman.
Yes.
Has experience playing Norwell. That probably plays in Northridge's favor. He's game planned against these guys. He saw these guys when he was an assistant at East Noble. How much does that play into it, knowing that Norwell hasn't necessarily seen much from Northridge, but they do. Northridge does have a little bit of experience as far as coaching staff goes, playing this Knights team.
Yeah, I think it helps a little bit, but the personnel for Norwell obviously different from when Tom Wogelman was there. So. And it's a different Norwell team in terms that they are able to pass the ball a little bit more than maybe most Knights teams have in the past. So while it helps a little bit, I guess, in the familiarity with Jeff Miller, at the same time, I really don't know how much you can ascertain from this particular Norwell team as opposed to Norwell teams in the past. But this Northridge team just keeps taking out 4A teams from Fort Wayne left and right. So we'll see if Norwell's next.
All right.